Good morning and welcome to the Morning Scoop for Wednesday, October 6th. This is your daily Buckeye Fix. I'm Tom Moore. The Maryland game is in 3 days, the game against Michigan in 52 days. The first month of the season did not go exactly according to plan for Ohio State. They had some rough moments early, obviously the loss to Oregon, but didn't look great at times against Minnesota, didn't look great at times against Tulsa. But they seem to have maybe turned the page a little bit. Obviously a dominating win over Akron, another dominating win over Rutgers. That was quite a journey, and it was only the first month of the season. The Buckeyes are almost halfway through their regular season. After the Maryland game, they will be halfway through their regular season. We talked to Ryan Day and several of his players on Tuesday, and this is going to be one of those shows where we play you clips directly so you can hear directly from the Buckeyes, hear directly from Day. We're going to start with Day, talking about that first month of the season. What was that like, and what was he proudest of his team, to go from where they started the year to where they are right now?
Well, we started off with a young team. I knew we were a little bit behind, in the spring and in the preseason, and tried to get to, but you really don't know until you get into games. And I think that, anytime you're at Ohio State, the expectations are to win every game, and they're very, very high. But, and we'll see. We'll see how the season shakes out. But I'm proud of the development over the last month. It's been a little bumpy at times, but guys have come to work every day. The coaching staff's been steady. The leaders have been steady, and we're getting better. We're growing. I think we have a really bright future, and the more these guys play, and the better off we're going to be. And again, the question is, how quickly can we get to where we know we can be? How quickly can we get to being a team that can win a championship? Well, we got another challenge this week. Maryland's going to come in here, and they got really good personnel and really good scheme, and so we're going to have to play good again. I thought we played better last week, but we got to take the next step this week.
One of the most pleasant surprises for Ohio State in the first part of the season has been freshman running back TreVeyon Henderson. He is on pace to potentially set an Ohio State freshman rushing record. But he's only had limited touches, so you really haven't completely seen the most of what he can do. He's getting 8-9 carries a game, which is, I think there are a lot of Ohio State fans and possibly some people in the Woody Hayes Athletic Center who would like to see more carries for TreVeyon Henderson. So is he ahead of where Ryan Day expected him to be? And then after that question, you're going to hear Day answering a question about Henderson maybe not having as many carries as other people might expect him to.
I thought it'd take a little bit longer than it has because he didn't play his senior year of high school, and then stepping into this situation is a lot. But I also saw a guy in the spring who was very serious about his work, very mature, takes care of his body. If he makes a mistake, he's the hardest person on himself. So all that was good, and then you see the talent. So still, has a ways to grow and build, but you can see the ceiling there.
Is it? I'm trying to think of the right way to put this. Like the last couple of weeks, 8 carries, I think 9 carries in both of those games. One was precautionary, one was a blowout. Is it good or bad that he's not getting this heavy workload if he's going to be the starter moving forward?
Well, I think, it's a long year and he's young, so I don't think it's a bad thing. But like you said, you also want him to get the reps and the work. But I think he's also learning a lot in practice and getting those things in practice. But we have depth at that position, so we're going to use that as a strength. And, if we find ourselves in a situation where we're up comfortably like that, we're not going to be foolish and put him in a bad spot if he's not 100%. And that was just the way it was, and we'll just take each week as it comes because, these things take twists and turns, as we know. So, we're going to do everything we can as best for him at the time. But, the more he plays, the better he's getting.
Things definitely do look a lot brighter around the Woody Hayes Athletic Center now than they did a couple weeks ago after the Tulsa game or after the Oregon game. So is this year's team now really on their way to very big things, Big Ten championship, college football playoff, and potentially even more than that? Ryan Day isn't quite ready to say that just yet.
No, I don't want to say that because we had one good week, but now we got to go do it again and prove we can do it again. But there is momentum there. I think you can see it. We saw it the way we practiced. If we don't have a good week of practice, it's not going to continue. We still have a young team. We're not all of a sudden out of the woods here. This is still a work in progress, and so we got to bring it every week now. And the more times we can do that, the more we can grow upon and experiences we can look back on and say, okay, we've done it here. We've been down in games at halftime. We've been up in games where we finished teams out. We've had some different things where in the past, we didn't exactly have all those experiences. I think that in the last month we have grown, but where we're at, we'll see as we head into Maryland. I didn't know. I didn't know where we'd be at this point. I think that we were making progress. I kind of felt like we were making progress midway through last week. You could kind of see it the way we were practicing, and we finally put it on the field and put together a complete game. And I thought that was good. A conference road game, but still a long way to go. A long season. We're by no means all of a sudden arrived. We still got, like you said, a very, very young team, and we got to keep developing. But again, the more we're investing in these guys, the more work we're putting into this team, the stronger we're going to get. And it's one thing to just kind of come into the season and win a bunch of games and just kind of cruise along. It's another thing to go through tough times and find out who people are and where things are at, and that you got to go earn it every week. Nothing's going to be given. I think that's one thing that this team and this program understands right now is you're not just going to walk out and beat anybody, and you got to show up and you got to play.
You can't ever get a college football coach to badmouth one of their opponents unless it's Steve Spurrier, and he has long since retired. So Ryan Day was asked about, is this a big step up from the Akron teams and the Rutgers teams now to the Maryland team you're facing this weekend? They didn't want to say that, but I think it's pretty clear that, yes, this is going to be a tougher challenge for the Buckeyes than they've had the last couple weeks.
Yeah, no, they have good players, and Talia is a very good quarterback, and they have good scheme. Coach Locks does a really good job. So, that's playing conference football though in the Big Ten. We got to bring it every week, and they're going to go against good players, and we gotta bring it. So, now we're into Game 6 here. So we're going to be going against good teams, good offenses, good defenses, and we got to go play. Well, they have good personnel, and we have to. It really comes down to how well we practice this week. That's a big part of how well we do on Saturday. So very, very important day today and tomorrow. We got to bring it. And the better we prepare, then the more confidence we can play with on Saturday. But another big challenge for us, a conference game, first conference game at home, and good team. They have good skill, good athleticism, good quarterback. They've played some teams really, really tough, and last week we'll just throw that game out and go off of what we've seen in the past with them because they're dangerous.
One of the guys who got one of those very crucial touches on Saturday against Rutgers was Mitch Rossi. He is a tight end / fullback, and we talked to him about that. He said he didn't really care whether you called him a tight end or a fullback, but he has gone from a walk-on player to a scholarship player now, and it took a lot of work for Mitch Rossi to get there. Here's Ryan Day talking about that.
Yeah, he's been in the program now for a while. He's gone through off seasons. He's got himself stronger. He's very intelligent. But he's really developed as a football player. He plays with a really great pad level, and he's got a unique skill set. He was a converted high school running back, and made the move over here to tight end, and so he can do some different things for us. He's got good ball skills, understands, has a good football IQ, understands how we're trying to attack defenses. He's got, again, does a good job in the pass game and in the run game. So a lot of versatility there, and having a mature guy there who's been around, a little bit older guy, is helping us.
You use a guy like that as an example for your team of, hey, you get what you earn?
Absolutely. Yeah. When you come here at Ohio State as a walk-on, you have to embrace a role. Now, there's also going to be an opportunity along the way, and you can see some of our guys are getting on the field as walk-ons, and so those opportunities will be there. But like you said, you have to earn it. Nothing's given. Whether you're a scholarship player or a walk-on player, you have to earn it. And, he's earned it, so hats off to him.
Rossi did score a touchdown against Rutgers. That was a play that meant an awful lot to him and an awful lot to a number of his teammates as well. Here he is talking about that play and what it meant to him that the coaches trusted him in that kind of a big spot.
Yeah, it's something that we prepared for. We had that set in, and I was just glad, that Coach Day trusted me enough to call the play in the game, and moving forward, just continuing to earn that trust and being able to be called on in an important part of the game is awesome. And, that's really what I strive to work for every day, be more in the mix, basically.
Any nerves when you're lining up there, knowing the ball could be coming your way in the end?
Yeah, usually I'm kind of not in the spotlight really in a lot of the jobs that I do, but it was exciting. A lot of my teammates were really happy for me on the sideline and in the champions meeting, and so it was awesome to have the support of everybody. It felt great.
Rossi got put on scholarship earlier this year. He said that was a really, really big moment for him and for his parents.
Yeah, it was an awesome feeling. It was kind of a testament to all the people that kind of helped me get there. It was really big for me and my parents. And made so many sacrifices for me to get here, and they're here for every game. They've done so much for me. So really special moment calling them after that and telling them that I got put on scholarship. It was awesome. So that was really the biggest thing for me.
One of the things that has made this Ohio State team a little different than some of the other ones is they've had so many young players take on bigger roles. Now that has created some leadership issues because you normally want your leaders to be guys who are playing. And with so many young guys playing, that has created maybe a little bit of a leadership vacuum in the early part of the season. Nick Petit-Frere is one of the guys who has sort of stepped up as one of those leaders. He said after the Oregon loss, Ryan Day came to some of the older guys and sort of challenged them. Even if you're not necessarily comfortable being a leader, this team needs leaders, so it's time for you guys to step up.
I say a lot of guys stepped up, and a lot of guys stepped out in terms of being more vocal and being more comfortable in the positions that they were, because we didn't know that we had a younger team, and that was just kind of, and every year there's always a new kind of thing that we had to deal with. Either it's like a new, like last year we had the COVID season, we had to figure out how to deal with that, but like this year was kind of more about like having some guys that are in my class or a class above me trying to step into bigger, more prominent roles and trying to step out and become leaders. And you know, that's something that takes a little bit of time, but Coach Day acknowledged that, and he said that, look, this is something that you may not feel comfortable with at first, but you have to step out in front of a crowd, and maybe the first time you step out in front of a crowd and you try to talk to a team, it doesn't really work out, or you say the wrong thing, or you're like, oh, that didn't sound right. But he's the type of person to tell you to, well, go back out and do it again. Get another rep at that. You got to keep putting yourself out there in front of people to have that confidence, to show that confidence not only in yourself, but to your teammates as well. And I feel like that's something that's been going on each and every week, and we've gotten better and better and better. And now we're at where we're at right now, and I think it's really good right now.
One of the other guys we got to talk to was defensive back Marcus Williamson. He has had an interesting role this year as well. He came back for his potentially final season this year and was, I think, expecting to be a starter, and then has not turned out to be a starter. That has been a little bit challenging for him. You can kind of tell talking to him. Ryan Day talked about the fact that Williamson has had a better focus last week, which then led to a better game. So you'll hear a little bit from Day about Williamson and why he's maybe turning into a bigger contributor for this year's team. Then you'll also hear from Williamson on that, and also what it's like trying to help the younger guys on the team, balancing helping the younger guys on the team while knowing those are also guys that are trying to get the same reps that you are.
This past week has had his best week of preparation, and he even shared with me that he got a lot of distractions out of his head. He cleared a lot of noise out and just gave himself to the team. His energy level was off the charts. His attitude was off the charts, and then lo and behold, he plays probably one of his better games. And I just thought it was a great example of when you get focused and you dedicate yourself to the team and you don't listen to all the noise, how that can affect your performance. And hats off to Marcus.
I would say this, this season didn't go how I personally envisioned for myself, but I've always, since PU, I've considered myself, a team player. And, sometimes you got to just put your ego aside, put the distractions aside, people in your ear, people in the community back home, whatever it may be, and just kind of put your best foot forward and focus on the team. And that's what I decided to do. So I guess it just comes down to humility, just taking that servant mindset. I think there's a lot of power in that. When you no matter what that guy's role may be, maybe he makes a play. I explained this to the defensive back room. Maybe the buddy next to you, maybe he makes that play. Maybe you thought it was your play to be made. But at the end of the day, you're only hurting yourself when you try to put yourself above the team. And so just taking that servant mindset, that love mindset, that I'm going to put my best foot forward, man, and I'm going to help the team. I think that's like I said earlier, it's having just huge dividends for what we're doing here.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. We always get good feedback on these shows when you just kind of get interviews and get to hear directly from the Buckeyes, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll be back tomorrow with another typical episode of the Morning Scoop. We're going to have hopefully Ross Fulton on tomorrow morning to talk about what he saw during the Rutgers game. How real is what you saw during the Rutgers game? How much do you really believe in it? And what does it mean moving forward for the Buckeyes? Speaking of shows that everyone always seems to love, Ross Fulton, always one of our most popular guests. So we'll be back with Ross tomorrow morning. And also you can find Ross and read his column at BuckeyeScoop.com. He is just one of our fantastic team of insiders. Lots of insight and analysis. Lots of great conversations on our Ask the Insiders board. So much more. That's all at BuckeyeScoop.com. Thank you guys all for joining us. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.